Hey guys, it's Kelsey and we are back with another Scrap 5 challenge. So this challenge was picked out by Scrapping Amy. So we needed to use a border punch or decorative scissors, die cuts, washi stamps, and at least 5 pattern papers. So I pulled out Heidi Swapped Wolfpack. As I am recording this right now, I know it's not going up for a couple weeks, but it is Creativation. So I have been hounding everybody who has been posting everything who are there and seeing all the new goodies, and I'm so jealous of them. I'm getting excited about all the new things, but it just made me remember my favorite collection that I got most excited about at last year's Creativation was Heidi Swapp's Wolfpack. I mentioned this in a previous video. This was my absolute favorite collection from 2019, and I'd used it for How to Kill a Kit with Style but still had some scraps left over, so I decided to pull it back out and try and get another layout done. I have this really cool Fox cut file that I got from Redefine Creative. I think it is a Kaiser Crafts cut file, but it was the last cut file I had left, and I am already stocking up on new cut files from Redefine Creative for next year. I guess it's this year now. But yeah, I figured, you know what, we're going to use some favorites from last year that I have had sitting around. We're going to get them used up. That way I can make room for new goodies. So I'm getting this final cut file used up, getting some more Heidi Swap Wolfpack. This is a photo of Bennett. I don't know if you can see the photo yet, but it is him. My mom decided to put hair gel in his hair. So this is right after he went swimming in the pool. He had a bath, and you saw a few pages about that. And then my mom put hair gel in his hair, and he just looks like a fancy little gentleman. So I was like, you know what? I want to use some Heidi Swap Wolfpack. Got this Fox cut. We're going to be all punny about it and say he looks foxy. So that's kind of the general gist of this page. I just backed that cut file super quick with a bunch of scraps I had left over from the 6x6 paper pad. I also pulled in a wood grain from, I think it's a My Mind's Eye Wood Essentials paper pad just because I wanted another wood grain. But yes, I love how the fox looks with all of those papers behind it. And then I did do some stamping. Stamps was one of the items we needed to use. I had this wood grain stamp. I've had it for a while. So I decided I was going to try and do some background stamping. I don't know how it turned out. It didn't look as cute as I thought it would look in my mind, but I'm really glad I did it because it's not something I usually do. This is another page where I'm playing with new techniques, trying things I usually avoid, etc. So we're stamping and creating backgrounds. I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media, but I think the black wood grain stamp looks pretty cool coming out from behind the fox and the paper layers that I'm adding behind the photo. I am inking these scraps that I am matting this photo in some black just so it all ties together. I thought the black ink would look really good since the cut file is in black, so that's what I'm working on now. But I'm pretty much just trying to use all of these scraps that I have to add a little bit of layering and a little bit of interest behind the photo. I really want to pull in some of the same patterns and colors that are already in the fox. And then because I did ink them in black, I decided to go around the entire outside of the page with the black ink as well. So I think that adds a really cool finish. But the messy part of the stamping I knew was going to be covered up, so that makes me feel a little bit better. I did pull in some watercolors. There's this really cool looking gray. It's like a warm gray, but it kind of gave me the same vibes as the papers I'm using from Wolfpack, so I decided to do a whole bunch of splatter. I wasn't really neat about it. Turns out a little messy, but I think it's fun and just having fun this layout and trying new things, so I'm cool with it. I just did a little bit. I think it wasn't enough because I ended up covering up too much of it with the cut file, so I went back and did a whole bunch more. So I'm going to let that gray dry, but it looks really cool. I think it's a nice fun detail, and the fox is so clean, and I'm not layering anything on top of this fox, that I feel like it's okay for the background to be messy because your eye doesn't directly go to that. It's just going to be some fun stuff coming out from behind the fox. So I'm heating that up really quick with my heat gun to help dry it, and then we will continue. But I'm liking how it's coming together so far. I kind of had in my mind how I wanted this to turn out. It turned out nothing like what was in my head, but I'm really glad I tried these new things, so that's just what we're working with. It's taking forever for this to dry. I just used some really cheap white paper because I was worried I would mess up with the stamping and didn't want to use really nice paper, but therefore it is taking a while for my watercolor to dry. But I think we're done now, so I do need to go in with a border punch, so I'm just using this zigzag zigzaggy border punch. I think that's the Martha Stewart punch. It's really nice because it does this zigzag and punches out the little holes, but it also dry embosses a zigzag as well, so that looks really nice. And I use that a lot when I use this collection during How to Kill a Kit with Style. I think it goes so well just because the zigzags remind me of mountains, and with all the angles in this cut file, I thought the zigzags went really well with that too. So I am just doing that same border punch on 2 different pattern papers to layer as a shelf behind this photo and then behind the fox. I kind of wish the scraps were a little bit longer so it could have stretched more towards the edge of the page, but I'm fine with it. That's kind of what I had to work with. So we just kind of made it work. But that kind of connects the photo to the cut file and gives all of it an anchoring point on the page. So that's why I like that detail. Also gave me an excuse to use that border punch because that's definitely an item I needed to get used up from the recipe. So far I have more than 5 pattern papers. I think I counted 8. So good on the pattern papers. We needed at least 5. I used the border punch, which was the zigzag, and I used the stamps, which was that wood grain in the background. So I do still need to get some die cuts on here and some washi. So I'm thinking about that in the back of my mind, but I'm trying to get the general layout of this photo down before I start embellishing, because I figured I could tuck washi in anywhere just to add little layery details. And I know I'm going to be embellishing with die cuts anyways, so I know that we'll get covered. So I'm just trying to get the basics down and then we'll kind of branch off in that direction. But I did want to stretch that little zigzag to the right side of the photo so it looks like it runs behind all of that. I think that really helps connect the photo to the cut file. But I'm going to clean my space up a little bit. I have all those scraps spread out so I could really see all of the papers, but I'm going to consolidate those to make some more room for my die cuts, and then you'll see me lay those all out. I just tucked everything that was left over from this collection after How to Kill a Kit with Style in with the sticker sheets. So I'm just going to dump all of that out. I have some rub-ons, puffy stickers, ephemera, packaging, all sorts of things left over. You can see a whole bunch of those at the bottom were actually from the packaging that I then went and punched and fussy cut to give me duplicates of ephemera pieces I've already used. So I've been enjoying getting those on pages too. It's always nice to get those free doubles, so I really have liked using those. But I know I want to get at least one of these rub-ons on. I don't think the rub-ons will last too much longer. They're already a year old, and I can already tell with this one that I applied to this page is already having a harder time rubbing off. That happens with pretty much all rub-ons. They expire eventually. They don't, so I wanted to get one used up. I have a few more circular silver ones left, but in all, I'm really pleased with how many I got used up. I don't know how many originally came in that packet, but I ended up using all of the square ones and about half of the circular ones so far. So I'll keep the circle ones. Hopefully I'll get those used up before they expire too. But I really like this square one. It says adventures are the best way to learn. Not really relevant to the hair gel situation, but this is such a cool adventure-y, outdoorsy type page that I thought it still looked cool. And I really like the introduction to the silver. I'm already working with a lot of these cool tones with the black and the navy and the gray, so I thought the silver was a really nice addition. And then I also have a bunch of die cut stars. Some are vellum, some are acetate, but I wanted to get those on there as well, so I sprinkled 2 of them in 3 different sections. Some starting to create a visual triangle, but I'm glad I got all the stars used up, so all the stars are done. There were tons of stars that came in this collection, so I'm glad I got them all used up. This is the thicker chipboard sheet that came with the collection. I had some left over as well, and I was able to spell out Foxy, which is what was left. I wanted to say like Foxy hairdo or Foxy man or like something, but I was really limited with the letters I had, so I figured I would just say Foxy. But I think it looks cute. It references the fox, but also is, a pun because Bennett looks so handsome with his hair gelled back. So I got that on there, and then you just saw me add some black and white striped washi. I did not want to forget the washi. I don't have a whole lot of washi, so I just went in with this black and white. I knew it would match well, so that's what I went with. And now, because I added the silver, I wanted to add some silver splatter as well. I don't have any silver splatter. I may have had some acrylic paint I could water down, But I had some silver texture paste that is getting close to drying up. It's pretty old, so I decided to mix some water in with it to make it a silvery liquid. So that's what I used to splatter the silver, and it kind of made the page look messier, but I really like how I added silver around the page, because at this point the silver was only in the rub-on and a few of those little stars. So I think adding that splatter really ties it all together. So I got that down on there. I think all 5 of the recipe items are now on the page. So now I just want to play with embellishment and finishing off the page. So I'm tucking in a sticker that says this weekend. I'm tucking in a few of those die cuts that I punched out from packaging. So one says stay wild child, another says reach for the moon. I think those look really cute. I'm popping those up on some foam so they have a little bit of dimension. I also found this blue and silver acetate heart, so I'm adding that next to that rub-on. I think that looks really nice. There's not a whole lot of blue on this page other than the little bits of navy here and there, but I definitely wanted to get that heart used up because I kept forgetting about it, and I want to make sure that doesn't stay in my stash and get forgotten about. There's also 2 moons that are left on the sticker sheet, so I'm using a full moon in one of the little embellishment clusters next to the photo and adding some puffy trees, and then I'm adding the crescent moon up on the top page there with a couple of the stars. So this is the finished page. Again, turned out a little messy, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm glad I got these products used up on a page. So make sure if you guys play along, use the hashtag Scrap5 so we can find your projects. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.